So in this video, we are going to discuss moment generating function of a normal distribution, and we are going to use that moment generating function for finding mean and variance of normal distribution. So there is a different method by which you can calculate the mean and variance of normal distribution. However, that method is slightly more tricky and requires a lot of integration. And over here, if you use moment generating function, it is slightly easier. So we are continuing from where we left earlier. We had defined earlier what is a moment generating function, and we had mentioned that moment generating function can be defined about any point. So what you are seeing over here, which is phi xt over here, that is a moment generating function of a random variable x, and it is about the origin or point 0 over here. So it is e of etx. Now if you remember, there is a if we want to find the mean of a variable x, then we write e of x, that is nothing but the mean of the variable x, and that is given by minus infinity to plus infinity into x into fx dx, where fx is nothing but the pdf or probability density function. Now for the case of normal distribution, the PDF is given by whatever I have mentioned over here, 1 by sigma under root 2 pi e power minus x minus mu whole square divided by 2 sigma square. That is the PDF or probability density function for normal distribution. So when we have some function gx in place of x, we replace x both sides. So that over here I am writing gx, and therefore I am writing gx over here. Now you can see phi over here, so you can compare this term with this. So you can see gx is nothing but e power tx. So if you want phi xt, you are basically finding expectation operator of e of tx, which can be given like this. Over here I am aware what is fx, that is written over here, so I can write this over here. Only one point I would like to notice over here, that if you see over here inside this expectation operator, I have written the random variable, which I can represent by capital X, and that's what I have done over here. In this integration, if you see, I have written a small x. So small x is typically used for the values which can be taken by this random variable, which is denoted by capital X. So that's the idea. So eventually we are supposed to find out or evaluate this integral, which is nothing but phi xt over here. That is the integration that we are supposed to evaluate. Now we have this term which is over here, which is x minus mu whole square divided by sigma square. So if you are somewhat familiar with statistics, you will remember that there is a term which is called z statistics, and it is quite famous one. So z statistics, or we can simply write z over here as x minus mu by sigma. Again you can see, because I am talking about random variable over here, and therefore z capital Z I have taken over here, and over here I have taken capital X. Now if we talk about the values which can be taken by this z and capital X over here, then I can write small z is equal to x minus mu by sigma, where mu is the mean and sigma is the standard deviation of the normal distribution. I will prove the same at the end of this lecture. I will prove that mu is indeed the indeed the mean of the normal distribution, and sigma is indeed the standard deviation of the normal distribution. So if I take z like this, and if I do change of variables over here, so first of all, if I take something like this, then I can write x is nothing but mu plus sigma z. So if I do change of variable, then you can see that dx will be, because mu is a constant, that will be 0, and over here sigma is a constant, so that will come out. So I will have something like this. So dx is equal to sigma dz. Now also if we look at the limits of the integration, so this is lower limit and this is the upper limit over here. So if you multiply sigma, which is a constant term, in minus infinity and plus infinity, it's hardly going to change, and therefore the limits are going to be same over here, and therefore I can say that phi xt, and then I can write minus infinity to plus infinity, and then I can write e power t. So as you have seen earlier, this x is now, so e power tx is there, which is mu plus sigma z, and then I can write 1 divided by sigma root 2 pi over here, and then e power minus z square divided by 2, and I have this dx over here. This dx will be sigma dz. So instead of that, I can write sigma dz. Now you can see I have sigma in numerator also and in denominator also, so I can cancel it out. And you can also see that 1 by root 2 pi is kind of constant, and therefore I can take it out. So let me take out first root 2 pi over here. And what else is constant? So you can see I have e power t mu over here, this first term over here. Okay, so okay, let me write first, let me write like this, and I will do it in next step, so that it is clear to all of you. So let me write like this. So this is what I need to evaluate. Now if I have something like which I can write e a plus b, then it this one I can write as something like this. So this is a very simple property which all of us are aware. Now this is what I'm going to use again and again in this derivation. So you can see now I can write this first term as 1 by root 2 pi over here, and then this integration is between minus infinity to plus infinity, so that minus infinity to plus infinity, and then e power t mu into e power sigma z into e power minus z square by 2. Now you can see that this term, which is second term, and this third term, they have some z in their powers, and therefore they are a function of z, and they are not constant, they cannot be taken outside the integration. However, if you see the first term, this term over here, it is e power t mu. So as far as t is concerned, which is auxiliary variable, which I told earlier in the video, like in the previous video, not in this video. So auxiliary variable over here, and mu is mean, so both of these are in constant as far as z is concerned. So I can take both of these outside, and then I can find phi xt. So let me take it outside and let's see what happens. So I will have phi xt, and that will be e power t mu divided by root 2 pi over here, and then integration. Now again you can see I had this is like e power a, and this is like e power b, so I can write this, both of them I can combine, and I can write e power a plus b. So that's what I am doing over here. So I am combining these two, and I am going to write that like this. So okay, one small thing over here. So this over here you have t e power t mu and e power, so this t is outside the bracket, and therefore when I basically divide it, I have to take t over here, which I had forgotten earlier. So then I will write t over here and something like this, and then I will have dz. So once I do it, and then you can see over here, yeah, so this is what I need to evaluate. Now what I can do over here, so I will, okay, let me first show you that I will take minus half outside, and then I will have z square and minus 2 sigma t z. This is what I will have, and this I can write as dz, and this I can write over here e power t mu divided by root 2 pi over here. Now if you see, there is a so this I can write a minus b square is nothing but a square plus b square minus 2ab. So that we are aware of. So now you can see over here, I have z square, so this is can be z square, and this is over here I have minus 2 sigma t and z over here. So if I add sigma square t square and minus, basically, so if I add this, I can write that in terms of a minus b whole square. So that's what I'm going to do over here. Because I do not have the sigma square t square, I will add and minus both, and therefore I will not be changing the expression over here. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm going to do something like this. So you see z square and then minus 2 sigma tz, and then plus sigma square t square minus sigma square t square, and that's all. So you can see over here, let me start from here. So that is e power t mu divided by root 2 pi over here, and then minus infinity to plus infinity, and then you can see I can write it as e power minus half, and then I can write inside the bracket, I can write that as something like this. That's what I mentioned, that I can write, you can see over here b square is sigma square t square, therefore b is sigma t, and that's what I have written over here. And then I will have minus sigma square t square, and that is tz. So you can see I can again, because I mentioned earlier e power a plus b is e power a into e power b. Again I will use that and I will write these two terms separately. So that's what I'm going to do over here. So you can see minus infinity plus infinity, and then I will write it as half, and then z minus sigma t whole square, and this will be e powers. So you can see I have a minus sign over here, I have a minus sign over here. These two will multiply and I will have a plus sign, that is sigma square t square divided by 2 dz. Another thing you can notice that e power sigma square t square, it does not contain any z, so it is independent of z now, and therefore I can take it outside the integration, which I am going to do over here. So I am taking it outside the integration. You can see I will write it over here. So into e power sigma square t square divided by 2, and this 1 by root pi I am taking inside the integration. There is a reason for that, I will explain. So that is 1 by root 2 pi over here, and this is e power minus z minus sigma t whole square divided by 2, and then dz. Now, if you remember, I had written this earlier also. Let me write. So, f of x for normal distribution is 1 by sigma root 2 pi, and then I had e power minus x minus mu whole square divided by 2 sigma square. Now you compare this fx which I have written just now and the function which you have inside this integration over here. So you can easily see that now it is a variable of so it is variable of z now, but that is immaterial over here because anyway I am integrating with z over here. But you can see that whatever you have inside this, that is f, that is basically pdf for mean is equal to, so you can compare over here, mean is mu over here, so this is mu over here, here you have sigma t. So for mean is equal to sigma t, and variance you can see over here I have 1 by sigma root 2 pi. So over here you have only 1 into root 2 pi, over here 2 sigma square, over here 2 over here. So that is variance is 1 over here. So that you can see for variance 1 and sigma t, whatever you have inside, that is nothing but a PDF of a normal distribution, because whatever you have inside the integration, that is PDF a normal distribution, and you are integrating between minus infinity to plus infinity. So as per the property of the probability density function, this integration will eventually will become 1, and therefore what you have eventually is this. So you have e power t mu, and then as I mentioned earlier, e power a into e power b will be e power a plus b, and that's why I can write it like this. So this and this into multiply with 1, which is nothing but the entire integration. So that is I can simply write phi x t, or moment generating function of a normal distribution will come out to be this. And as we have discussed earlier that what is like, as per the very definition of the moment generating function, a moment generating function is a function which basically generates moments, and therefore I can use this to generate moments. And so what I can write, I can basically find, so that is what I have to find. So if I find that, I can simply write it as uh, something like this, and whatever I have at top, that will be become mu plus, and sigma square t square and 2 will come sigma square into 2t divided by like this. So you can see I will have mu plus sigma square t into e power t mu plus sigma square t square divided by 2. That is what I am going to have. And if you see that now, as we had discussed earlier, that raw moment is nothing but, so we had defined raw moment as mu1 dash, and that is nothing but moment generating function at t is equal to 0. So if I put t is equal to 0 in the above expression which you are seeing, that is nothing but mu plus sigma square into 0, and then you have e power, and that is 0 plus 0. So e power 0 will be 1, and this entire expression will be mu. That is the proof. And we had discussed earlier that the first raw moment is equal to the mean of the probability density function. That is discussed in one of the earlier videos. You can see. So I have found first, so that is mu, so that is nothing but e of x, and e of x is nothing but mu 1 dash, and that is same as me. So you can see over here how easy it is to find the mean of the normal distribution if you use moment generating function. So if you use moment generating function, it is very easy. And the same way we can find the mean of the variance of the normal distribution function. So we had discussed earlier, second raw moment is mu2 dash, and that is nothing but e of x square. And then we had discussed that second central moment, that is mu2, that can be written as mu2 dash minus mu1 dash whole square. This, as I mentioned earlier also, that this expression is very well known, and it is nothing but this expression e x minus mu, and that is whole square over here is nothing but e x square minus e, okay, slight distance is required, yeah, so that is e something like this. And same thing we are going to do. So now already I have e of x, that is basically mean. So I want so variance is mu2 dash minus mu square, because I am already aware that mean is nothing but mu square. And so I need to find mu2 dash or e of x square, that I am supposed to find. So that I am going to find what is that. So for that I have to find second derivation of the phi xt, and once I find the second derivative of the phi x t, and then I will put basically, so that is nothing but so I am just writing that, that is this, and then I have to put at t is equal to 0. So first let me find what is phi. So that is d by dt of phi. Yeah. Now I can take it from here. So you can see from here I have the expression already for it. So that is mu plus sigma square t into e power t mu plus sigma square t square by 2. So I'm writing that. So d upon dt into mu plus sigma square t into e power t mu plus sigma square t square divided by. Now this is what I am going to do. Now as you know that now I have two functions, so you can assume that this first function is nothing but let me say q of t, and the second function over here is nothing but r of t. And then you know that I can write it as qt into d by dt rt plus rt into d by dt qt. So same thing I'm going to do over here. So that is phi. So first I'm going to take the first function outside, that is mu plus sigma square t, and then I will be doing d by dt of e of t mu plus sigma square t square divided by 2, and plus then I will take the second one outside, that is this t mu plus sigma square t square by 2, and then d by dt of mu plus sigma square t. So you can notice over here this I can write it like this, mu plus sigma square t, and this term which is over here, this term, that term is nothing but I can again write it as phi. So that is nothing but this, because this whatever inside the bracket, that is phi xt, and I am taking derivative of that, that is I can write it like this. And the second term you can see over here, it is t mu plus sigma square t square divided by 2, and then inside this bracket, because mu is constant, so its derivative will be 0, and then sigma square is multiplied with t, so you will have sigma square. Now I can I already know what is the value of phi x prime t. You can see over here I have written inside this bracket, that is the function which I was evaluating. Then I can directly write the same function over here, so that I can, so first term will get multiplied, and that is I will have square of it, and then I will have t mu plus sigma square t square divided by 2 plus sigma square e power t mu plus sigma square t square divided by 2. So you can see I have that exponential term common, so that I will take outside, and that will be inside that I can write it as this is what is this is what I can write over here. Now I have to just put so I have to, for e of x square, so as I mentioned earlier, that is nothing but phi double prime xt at t is equal to 0. So if I put t is equal to 0 over here, as did earlier, you can see e power will be 0 plus 0, and inside this I will have mu plus sigma square into 0, and then whole square over here plus sigma square. So you can see, if you evaluate it, you will find that e of x square comes out to be e power 0 plus 0 is e power 0, that is 1, so that will go out, and inside that you will have mu square plus sigma square. And now just see this once again. So whatever I had written earlier, this whatever I mentioned earlier, so where variance will be, so variance, so that is mu 2, that is e into x minus mu whole square, and that is e of x square minus e of x whole square. That eventually comes out to be, you can see if I directly put from here, mu square plus sigma square, because e of x square is this which I am writing minus mu square, so that is sigma square. So you can see from here that variance comes out to be sigma square, and therefore standard deviation is nothing but root of variance, so therefore it's sigma. And therefore I can say that, as I mentioned earlier, now we have proved that the mean and standard deviation of the normal distribution are mu and sigma indeed. That is an interesting application of moment generating function of normal distribution.